I'm Steph.
I'm Sherlock. No, I'm not Sherlock. I'm Michael. This is Sherlock.
Sherlock Files and Sherlock Propagation?
Yes, Propagation. So yeah, this is by Enigma Studio.
It's G.
It says Enigma Studio on the
interesting.
back. Yeah.
But
it's also
GDM games.
GDM, yes. Well, I can't show it on the overhead. Anyway, they sold or transferred the rights to that to Indie.
Yes.
Boards and cards. So
Licensed, probably.
This is an adventure that is included within Sherlock Files Volume 2, Curious Capers. So this is one of 3. There is a Volume 1 of this and a Volume 3 of this. So there are,
coming out.
As far as I know, there are 9 cases available. On this stream, we're going to play one of these 3 cases. So the cards that you get in this little standalone are pretty much the same cards that you get.
It's a good try.
In Curious Capers. Where is the purple deck? Which one is it? Oh no, it's this one. This matches this here. So
show it on the overhead.
We can. So the cards are sized fairly identically. The new ones are a little thicker, but it's the same cards and the same art. Go ahead and put it on the overhead there.
Whoops.
Wow, that was a fail.
That was a fail.
So we got the old ones, right? And then we got the new ones here. They're the same size. And they even have a similar sort of intro thing. It's interesting to note that the QR code is on the old ones, but not on the new ones. Maybe they have it in a rule book or something. The little case files that come in the Sherlock files look like this. And the one in Sherlock is little and looks like this. But it's effectively the same thing. So we are going to play through this. So note, there will be spoilers.
I put the little spoiler tag up here. So
because we are going to be playing through one of those 3 adventures. But if you like it, you can either get the other 2 Sherlock games in this set. Or you can just get Volume 2 and just leave that one unplayed. Because you will have already played it with us. So,
yep. Or you can bow out and we'll talk to you later.
Yep. So, let's go ahead and put that to the side.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to read this right here.
I think it's a new release. I'm not actually sure it's actually out yet, but it's going to be out this
not out
year.
Yet?
I don't believe so.
Number 2? Wow.
For Indie, the Sherlock game
the Sherlocks
is for
are,
sure,
but they're harder to find.
That's Spain. So
yeah, it's a Spain publisher.
I'm pretty sure it's Spain. So I'm bad at locations. So I don't know.
So, we are going to measure our score. Each case is unique. It's unrepeatable. When you play this, you can't play it again.
I mean, you can, but you'll probably remember the story enough to know.
So, in order to solve the case, we're going to share information. You can't show your cards to the other players, where each of us are basically going to have a hand of 3 cards. You can read out loud underlined text and text that is framed inside this little paperclip image. If it says text in there, you can share that. So, the clues you choose to reveal are public and everyone can read them. You can share your theories with the group and talk about the cards on the table at any moment. So, we're going to go back and forth between Steph and myself, and we are going to say we're going to reveal this card or discard this card. So, if you choose to reveal, you just place it on the table. Everyone can see it. Here's the catch. If you place a card, I'm going to put this in there so there's at least something for them to look at here. If you place a card that turns out to be irrelevant to the case, you're going to lose one of your 20 points. It's 20 points, I think? I'm almost certain it's 20 points. Maximum. So, Be careful with the cards you discard. Some clues are essential to solve the case. So, here's the catch though. I will have seen a card that I discard away. I can still use that knowledge at the end of the game to solve the case, but she won't know anything about it. And it's possible, let's say if I learn something about the plumber who, came around at noon and she finds out that something else was happening at noon, we might not connect these clues together unless one of those or both of them are revealed.
Or we remember it all at the end of the game.
And I say, oh, hey, there was a plumber here at noon. She's like, oh, yeah, well, I had this card that said at noon something happened. So, yeah. But maybe both of those are irrelevant. And had we revealed them, it would have been bad. So sometimes it might be good just to keep it up in your head. Mm-hmm. So as soon as you either discard or reveal a card, you draw a new one. And it goes to the next player. Yeah. When all the cards have been revealed or discarded, we're going to look at all this information, and then we're going to open this up and answer the questions
to our best ability.
To the best of our ability.
Yeah. Which we're going to ask for all your help. So if you're listening and you want to try and help us and talk through it, we're going to be talking. Yep.
And we will go with what you guys think for the answers.
Yeah, and so you can ask us questions because we might be discarding cards that we need to try and remember during that time. So if you ask us questions, that will help us remember.
And if you guys think that we should keep a card based on an underlined text piece or one of those little paperclip notes that you I'll probably say something like, cabin boy mad. And then you have to say, oh yeah, that sounds like a good one to know. I think you could discard cabin boy mad.
Yeah, no, we don't need that.
So, at the end, this is another catch. At the end of the game, the discard pile must have at least 6 cards. If not, you just fail automatically.
Well, I don't think that will be a problem anyway.
No, because we have gotten good at discarding cards.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to lose.
We're not necessarily good at the game.
But no, we're not good at the game. We're good at discarding cards. We're not good at answer. Actually, when we finish, we're usually around
middle
14.
Of the row. Yeah, middle of the row.
13, 14.
Unless it's the 4th of July case, which
was, oh my goodness, I think we're 8.
That case was probably not our favorite. That was definitely the weakest of them all.
Yeah. So, when all the cards have been revealed or discarded during this phase, now you can talk freely about anything you saw. Even if you can't talk about it until that last card is gone. Mm-hmm. So, when we think we have an explanation of the case, we answer the questions. Each of the 10 questions are worth 2 points apiece. -1 for each of those irrelevant cards that we decided to keep accidentally. Sometimes, when you only have 3 cards in your hand, it's hard to know. Am I supposed to keep this, or is this something that's necessary, or is this going to be one of those irrelevant pieces? So, and that is your final score. Mm-hmm. If you are going to solve the case alone, if you're going to do it solo, you get 6 cards in your hand. You either put things in a temporary hand or a final discard pile. When the deck runs out of cards and the final discard pile has 6 cards, shuffle the temporary pile, turn it into the new deck. Yeah, you're going to be taking clues that you have already discarded. But from that moment till the end of the game, you can only discard to that final discard pile. That's how you do a solo game with this.
Okay.
So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Recording of a phone call to 110 emergency on Wednesday. Well, it's a phone call to 110. I think that's like 911 in the U.S. and 119, I think, in the U.K. or whatever it is. Recording of a phone call to 110. Emergency on Wednesday, July 12th at 22:10.
Okay.
10:10 p.m., I guess.
Right.
Dial tone. Answer. Voices in the background and distant fire sound while speaking. Emergency says, 110, what's your emergency? So yeah, that's like 911. Mia says, I'm calling from the Robsa Laboratory, 179 Strandvine, Oslo. There's been a fire on the 4th floor. Oh, I guess Oslo uses 110. Norway. Emergency says, are there people stuck inside? You read, Mia.
Oh. We don't know. We are 7 people in the assembly area, but we aren't sure if there's someone else inside.
What's the size of the fire?
Almost the whole 4th floor. There's 3 laboratories, so around a total of 300 meters squared.
Are there anything flammable or dangerous in the damaged area?
It's a lab, everything is valuable equipment.
Voices in the background say, "There's oxygen tanks on the 2nd floor."
There are oxygen tanks on the 2nd floor. It seems the fire hasn't reached that floor yet.
Do you work in the building?
Yes, my name is Mia Dahl. We are 7 employees
You
here.
a doll?
Roll doll.
You a doll? Me a doll.
Mia Dahl.
The firefighters are on their way. Wait for them and provide them with any information they need.
Thanks.
No, it says thank you.
I
I said me a doll. You a doll? All right. Do we shuffle these?
Yes. Well, we need the first card.
Yeah. We needed the first card. That's the first card, right?
I don't know.
Do we need this first? I'm going to look at this first. I'm going to read this first. Before playing the first card, it may be a good idea to share the information you have in your hand and choose an initial player. Oh, before playing the first card. So,
I think it's the other side.
beginning with a short introduction and the first card. Players will be... You mean this?
Yeah. The first
Take the
card.
first card, numbered 1.
Yeah.
Oh, put it on the table.
Yeah.
And shuffle the rest without looking at them. There
All right,
we
you
go.
can show them on the overhead and
I
I'll
will.
shuffle.
How about you do that? Oh, there's our first card here. Look
So
at
tell
that.
us, what does it say?
4th floor drawing.
Oh.
It looks like there's an emergency plan. There looks like there's lab 11, lab 12, and lab 13. This says A and B and C. And it looks like these are really tiny. So
It's like where?
if it's really small for you guys to see, yes, it's small for us to see as well. I might indeed need those glasses. So there are little green lines going down the hallway, heading for this exit right here. So I guess that exit stairwell. So that's just an emergency floor plan to like get out. There are symbols like for high voltage and first aid and emergency exit, but none of those icons seem to be visible here. There might be some little tiny things. It looks like it's the sign for emergency exit, just pointing down to go this way. So someone from lab 11 would have to go all the way down to here. So like this is an elevator up in the corner. So there's not a lot on this card.
Okay.
So I'm going to put this out here.
So we each get 3 cards.
We each get 3 cards.
All right. What do your cards say?
My cards say Magnus's Locker. Magnus.
We don't know who that is yet.
An insurance policy and shift change.
Those look good. Mine has a little paper clip, which is Laboratory 12. Huh. I have a very ambitious project, industrial espionage. And then I have one that says ID lost.
ID lost. So, do any of those sound good to you guys?
Let's see. I think. Actually, I'm gonna put this over here.
No,
Oh, it's not. Is that in your way?
that is not.
Okay. Lab 12 sounded interesting. Yeah, it does look like it's probably important. So, I think I'll go first. Let's play the Lab 12. We'll show everybody.
So, looks like there is a watch
With
and
the
it
broken
stops.
face.
It's a broken face, which sort of indicates that it stopped at that time.
So the time it stopped
and it's in water.
Or it's in a vial with
vial
bubbles. So we don't know what kind of formula that is. It
so,
could be anything.
I mean, yeah, depending on if this is midnight or noon, then it was like 35?
Yeah, whenever
11:36, whenever that happened.
Mm-hmm. Then I draw a card, so we have that on the table now for us to evaluate.
What to do? I don't think an insurance policy is helpful.
Okay.
I don't know that shift change is helpful unless that happens to be something important. So, anything you guys wanted to see from Magnus's locker, shift change, or an insurance policy? Or alternatively, should I discard any of those? Because remember, irrelevant cards, -1 point right off the bat. Boom. The shift change, I cannot reveal any information about it. But you know what? Here's the catch. I can remember this information if I do that and just put it in the discard pile.
Yeah.
I can remember that information. So I'm going to draw one.
A discard pile.
Charred body. Oh, yep, that's helpful. Guaranteed.
I have a new card that says research work canceled. I think I can remember it. These two probably go together, so I'm going to hang on to them. Let me see. Let me read this one. Very ambitious project. Industrial espionage.
What do you guys think she should do? Reveal any of those or
I don't know if the
discard them.
Industrial...
They can totally see your cards though.
Yeah, but they can't really.
You don't know?
Yeah, I'm going to discard one of these.
I mean, if I show Magnus's locker, it'll look like a locker.
I'm gonna discard that one.
Pumpy has this step away from the keyboard.
Like,
we'll see you here in a little bit, hopefully.
I'm gonna discard the ID lost.
Oh.
Okay.
I am going to actually play that charred body card. A charred body has been found in Laboratory 12. A woman holding her legs, sitting in a corner. Traces of accelerant have been found all over her body. Oh, that means it was intentionally set. An accelerant is something like gasoline that accelerates the fire. Doors sealed is the one I just got.
This is probably important, but it's probably also not that important. Like, I don't know if it's critical to know, but I'm going to discard it. It's the information that I can tell you is sources of ignition.
Ignition?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it is igniting the fire that happened in the lab, it seems like it would be somewhat important.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's like...
I mean, we got a charred body now.
Right. I'm going to remember it. It's easy to remember, so...
It's only at risk if it is irrelevant. So
right.
Sources of ignition doesn't seem irrelevant, but I will trust you.
It's
to put that in there.
Yeah, I can't say much more than that.
Yeah, see, that's the catch, is that some of these things seem like they're relevant, but they aren't really, which is how we end up with 13 or 14.
Easy for me to remember, so I'm just going to remember it.
Yeah, same thing for the shift change. I can remember that. I am actually going to reveal this, and you'll probably see why when I show you. It's something that somebody named Sophia said. When I heard there was a 210, whatever that means. It might be a fire outbreak. I tried to go into the affected area with the fire extinguisher, but the doors were sealed, and I evacuated the building. That seems really suspicious. If the doors were sealed. And that, keeping that here also reminds us, hey, Sophia tried to get in. She's probably not, she's probably not to blame for this.
I'm thinking one of the cards I discarded was important.
Here is a card that says Sumerian fever, virus, cattle. I don't see the relevance.
I don't see the relevance for this one. Call cigarette.
If you can remember it, it's good to discard. All right, Sumerian fever, virus, cattle, gone. Boy, that was quick. My new one, charred body.
Oh, it's a picture of the charred body.
No, I didn't say it was a picture.
Oh.
It says charred body. That's all I can say.
I have a paper clip. Says Mia's locker.
Mia's locker? I've got Magnus's locker.
It's interesting because reasons, but I don't... Might be important. It might be misleading. I don't know.
What do you guys think?
Mia's locker. What do we think? Show it or not? Now, if we're wrong, we lose points, so we don't want to be wrong.
Oh. What is that?
What is it? Research work canceled. Do we think that's important?
I don't know if that's something important in Magnus's locker.
All right, well, I think I'll play this card. Hey, Corsi, we were talking about you earlier. We were playing around with this.
No, I don't think. No, it's not anything important in here. On Corsi. On
Corsi's
locker. Corsi's locker.
You're a part of the story now, Corsi.
Corsi, you now have a locker.
We are playing Sherlock Propagation. I'm going to show this one because I won't remember it.
Ingrid says they were working on a very ambitious project in the Laboratory 13. They since it was written by, were they in Spain? Some of the English is a little bit weird, but anyway, still understandable. A very ambitious project in the Laboratory 13. None said anything, and they were very paranoid about the industrial espionage and the leak of information. Oh, that might be irrelevant, but I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
I don't know. It's so early in the case. It might be irrelevant. Oh, I got Emma's locker.
Oh my goodness. We have a bunch of lockers. All right. I am going to discard insurance policy. I'm not convinced. I am not entirely convinced that it is necessary, but I will reveal that information later. Night, Mom.
I will do this one because I think it's interesting. Mia's locker.
All right. Here is Mia's locker. It's empty. It's empty.
Why would her locker be empty?
It's totes empty.
It's like she knew something was happening.
Mia.
Kind of suspect. Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Kind of sus. Played a little About Us, have you? Yellow sus.
Always asking on this card.
Oh, emergency codes. I don't think emergency codes. Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Now I know about the emergency codes. But I don't know I should discard it yet.
To get all kinds of new info. We got Mia's locker, which is totally empty. I put down this card that I'm not sure.
I've got Magnus's locker, and this should tell you a lot.
Yeah, nothing there.
Well, no, this is nothing there. This is Magnus's locker.
I have Emma's locker here.
Yeah, but what's in it?
Yeah, see, this makes
so
me...
the info that we got on the case, Pumpy, since you're back. So we have a charred body in laboratory 12. The doors were sealed. And so the person with the fire extinguisher evacuated the building. There was an ambitious project going on in the laboratory next door. And there was some industrial espionage going on. And Mia's locker is empty. Empty.
So the reason...
And then Corsi said kind of sus.
This says always asking.
Always asking.
I can remember what it says, but I do think it's important.
It's up to you. Only if you think I need to know it.
No, probably not. Always asking.
This card, the new card I got, mobile phones in the entire facility. I think I can remember it. I think I can remember that. Datarol virus cure. That's what this card is. Datarol virus cure.
I have a 24-hour news channel. I don't know how this has anything to do with what's going on here. So that makes me really question what we're doing. Because I don't know if this has just...
So either this is all irrelevant or that's irrelevant?
Or there's a bigger picture involving all of it.
Can't answer that.
I'll hold on to that because I don't know if it's worthwhile. I will discard Emma's locker because I think I've got it.
Because it has probably slightly more stuff than this has?
Yeah.
Datarol virus cure, discard.
I have laboratory 8.
I have an entry register. I have an entry register.
Okay, so this kind of goes along with the 24-hour news channel. Laboratory 8.
Can't wait till I play the entry register.
I'm gonna play this card down.
Yeah.
Research work canceled.
You can remember that.
Yes.
Well, here's the entry register. I think this might be important. So, the fire happened at 22. The phone call happened at 22:10. Remember, Mia called, right? Right?
Yeah.
At 2200, here was the access control system. It says searching access at 2200. Hedda is marked Hedda Jensen, just in case you get anything about Hedda Jensen. But there are other names on the list like Mia and Magnus and Emma and Jacob and Oliver and Sophie and Ingrid and Julie. I think they're all there, but Hedda is marked in black for some reason.
A lot of those people are lab people.
Well, yeah. Because here's Sophia and here's Ingrid. So that's why I thought the entry register would be important. We are getting down to the last 7 cards. 24-hour news channel, like you got, I guess.
Interesting. It's funny because there's like, I can't really tell you, but there's like little like side stories.
There's side stories.
And those refer to the other Sherlock games.
Oh, yeah.
So I just thought that's kind of funny.
Dubai robbery at a jewelry.
Yes.
Barcelona missing person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
It is funny.
Employees usually work in. I don't think we need that.
I don't think we need this 24-hour news channel thing. Dating.
In the office area.
I got dating, but I don't know whether it's important or not.
Oh man. All right, I'm gonna just put this down because I won't remember any of it. So.
Wow! Look at all the text on this card.
It has a lot of times and everything.
Datarol. Remember the virus cure? So, Datarol, Mickey, L12 sealed cage, sample extraction, Greta 10, Emma 2200. So
Those
Emma
are the times.
was responsible for dealing with Mickey at 2200. Guhalras, Stewart L8 standard cage, sample extraction, Henrik at 9, Magnus at 2100. So Magnus and Emma on the late shift. Magnus and Emma on the late shift. Sumerian fever, Jerry L11 standard cage, sample extraction, Katerin 930, Ingrid 2130. So Ingrid, Magnus, Emma all on the late shift. So Datarol, Sumerian fever, I've already discarded.
Okay.
Right.
But I there's no way I was going to remember all those times when people were working. So I just...
All right.
I'm going with the hope that it matters.
So, I've got another charred body here. I'm going to go ahead and reveal it just because I think the thing that's on it is important, though I probably could remember it.
Right.
Is it a hot date? I don't know.
It's a charred body.
This is a charred... And you know what? It might indeed be because there's a charred body has been found in the middle of Laboratory 12. A woman lying face down with head trauma. Laboratory 12 is the one with Datarol. And that's the one that Emma was going to deal with at 2200. Well, why does that say 1130 if it happened at 2200?
No, I know. I'm just saying that there's a watch there.
There is a watch. But anyway.
It doesn't look like a girl
Take a look.
watch.
Laboratory 12. Datarol. Emma at 2200. Somebody took Emma out. Emma's probably dead. And that is not me saying anything about what I've seen on my cards. So there's a woman holding her legs and a woman lying face down with head trauma. So there are 2 women in Lab 12. I wonder if... No, it's not Ingrid because Ingrid wrote a report here. Not Ingrid in there.
All right, I'm discarding the competition down here because I don't think that's...
Guhalras virus cure. I'm going to put that where I put the other ones. Oh,
this...
Success, research work, promotion.
This is important, but not for what it's saying, for other reasons. And my gut's always usually wrong, but I could remember it, but it just... I think this is the answer to the whole case right here.
Yeah.
So...
Hedda says, Emma and Oliver get along very well, and in spite of their shifts, they usually meet after hours. I wouldn't be surprised if he's interested in something more than friendship. Oh, well, then this is interesting.
Yeah.
Emma and Magnus were dating for a few months, but she wanted to break up. Oh, that's all. That's all the cards.
That's all she wrote.
Then, yeah.
Destroyed physical evidence. I'm going to discard it because, yeah, easy to remember.
I'm going to remember this over the course of a couple of discards.
I don't think we're going to need Laboratory 8, but what do you think?
Laboratory 8 was where Guhalras was being researched. and it was in Laboratory 8, and Magnus dealt with stuff on Laboratory 8. So it depends on... Laboratory 8 was not even on the 4th floor. It was in the building, but not on the 4th floor. And Magnus was working that... Magnus was dating Emma. Magnus was in Lab 8.
And, I don't think it's important.
Okay. Take your word for it. Emergency codes? No.
And then I still have the 24-hour news channel. Okay.
All right, now we can say what we know. Mia put in for a shift change this week.
Mia. Yeah, she was looking really guilty.
Emma, because of her recent research work, just got put in for a promotion. So the question is, we have to realize whether, we have to decide whether this is something Mia did because she was jealous of Emma's promotion.
She was one always asking questions, and she was the newbie. She wanted to always know what's going on and who's doing what. And she was the newbie. I read that. And so another thing, she might have been working with Oliver because Oliver forgot his ID or lost his ID. And
Oliver was
Jacob had to
dating Emma or wanted to date Emma.
Yeah, but they're both sketchy to me. And so Oliver's research was canceled. And Jacob had to let him into the building on this particular day. So there was no trace of him actually being there except for Jacob's word on it. So
no proof that who was there?
Oliver, because he lost his ID, and that's how they had to get into the building.
Oliver is shown as being on the access control log.
That's weird, because he lost his ID and didn't have his... That day, he didn't have his...
Ta-da!
Alright. I don't know then. That doesn't make sense.
Well, maybe he lost it and someone used it.
Or, yeah, maybe somebody was using it in his name. Mia was on the way outside for a cigarette when the fire started.
Well, Mia has access on this list, too.
There were multiple sources from where the fire point started. So, many points of... So, that's the sources. That's all it said, was that they targeted many different spots.
Magnus's locker looked like it had a jacket or some golf clubs or something in it. It had some protein bars and a drink. I thought maybe it might be accelerant or something, but then I looked closer and it looked like little citrus stuff on it. So I think it's a citrus drink, a citrus energy drink of some sort in his locker. Mobile phones aren't allowed anywhere in the lab.
Really?
Yeah, they have to be left in the lockers.
Okay, yeah, I saw a phone in a locker.
Magnus's phone was in his locker.
And same with Emma.
Mia ain't got Jack in her locker.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is sort of what we do on Sherlock is, hey, this is what I saw, this is what I saw. And it works really well.
We haven't even started the questions. We're just trying to
We haven't even started the
story
as soon
straight.
as yeah. Do you guys have any questions of us
before
we all of us answer these questions together?
There's a pen and paper up there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any thoughts, I definitely think I'm wrong with 11. Oh, well.
Yeah.
It was early in the game that I wasn't sure if that.
Yeah, the discussion, I think, is the main thing that makes this game. Yeah, Corsi, you sort of missed the front end of it. But yeah, basically we are either discarding cards intentionally or displaying them intentionally. If you discard a card that's irrelevant, you lose a point. Each question that we answer is going to be worth 2 points. And total score of if you max it out, it's 20 points. Minus 1 for every one of those cards that's irrelevant to the case.
Yeah.
Now, there's some relevance in here. That's okay as long as we don't have irrelevant ones up here.
Yeah.
Relevant ones in here are fine as long as we answer the questions correctly.
I mean, Mia's locker was empty. That makes her look really guilty.
It does, but the question is, what's the motive? Now, the laboratory had an insurance policy against fire.
Right. Okay.
Specifically against fire, but this is arson.
Yeah, this is...
Someone did it deliberately and decided to kill the people. All of these are viruses of which they're... Most of the time, it's either sexually transmitted or airborne transmitted or something, and that have no cure. It looks like these are research animals. And that this is all of the ambitious projects and stuff that they were... Well, no, this is a different ambitious project that's in 13, but... In 11 and 12, they had lab animals with these viruses in them. So, and it looks like they were taking samples. One of the diseases was sexual. One of the diseases was airborne. And I don't remember the other one. I think it's transmitted by animals or something. So, I don't know. Spoiler.
Trying to make it so it stands out.
Well, we can go ahead and try the questions.
I think so.
I mean, there's no penalty for starting to answer them and having to discuss more.
Right.
Question 1. Who is the body found holding their legs?
I didn't see anything with bodies, so I have...
There's these two bodies.
Right, but they were holding their legs?
Yeah, right there. A laboratory employee, an informer of the competition, a police officer, or none of the above?
I mean, the only card I saw with police officer said there are no traces, there are no evidence left over. So it's like, it'll be hard.
Except for that watch? Don't know.
Yeah, he said... That's the only thing I saw with the police officer.
Question 2 is, who is the body found with a head trauma? A lab employee, a journalist, an animal rights activist, or none of the above? I would guess it's a lab employee. It's a woman with head trauma, lying face down. Someone clocked her on the back of the head. Likely Emma. Just a guess. She didn't have a statement.
She had no statement.
Like,
I agree. I didn't see
Ingrid,
anybody with statements.
Sophie.
I saw Mia.
Hedda.
I saw Mia.
Mia called.
I saw Jacob.
Hedda. Yeah, Hedda was here too, wasn't she?
I saw Hedda.
Yeah, Hedda's here. Hedda, Sophie, Ingrid. Hedda. Julie is the last one.
I think I saw a Julie card.
Now, this is the thing. If if Oliver was in on it, maybe it was the informer of the competition. That the industrial espionage. Maybe.
Jacob is the oldest employee so he's been there the longest. Mia's the newest employee. She's been there the shortest amount of time.
But Emma just got a promotion. I wonder if somebody was mad that she got a promotion. Or whether it was Magnus. I don't know if Magnus killed her because, they were dating. She wanted to break up. Oh, in his locker, there's a picture of him and a girl inside the locker. How about Emma's locker? Is there a picture in there?
There was a mirror.
There's a mirror.
And
because she wants to look good for all of
She had
it.
a helmet, like a biker helmet, and 2 white shirts. But I don't know how that has any reference to anything.
I don't know.
And it looked like a game, but
I don't think Magnus did it because he clearly loves her, unless that's some other woman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like inside the locker door, as you do when you're in, if you have a locker, you put pictures and stuff on the inside. I don't know. We did that sort of stuff when we were younger. At least the girls did. I don't know if Magnus did. I mean, So
we could go with Emma for one of them. I think Julie did get
well,
a statement. I remember.
It's a laboratory employee, a journalist, an animal rights activist. None of the above.
So the news segment I saw was activists released animals from the zoo.
Oh.
So I don't know how that has anything to do with anything, but they might have been in the lab trying to release the laboratory 8 animals, because it was clearly laboratory 8 was an animal lab.
Yes, it's right here. It's Stewart.
Yes, but what I'm saying is,
oh, and Magnus is the one that
activists could have been trying to get in there to release the animals from there, because they were breaking news on my news thing.
Did Magnus steal Oliver's did anybody steal Oliver's ID? So imagine this. Emma has been doing good research, just got a promotion, stumbles into number 12 where this animal rights activist is putting accelerant down everywhere, right? Because she's going to burn the lab down because there's experiments happening. Emma comes in, finds out what this girl is doing, this animal rights activist. The animal rights activist kills Emma, but then can't get out or something, and so she's traumatized. She's sitting there while the lab's burning down around her and holding her legs because she just killed somebody. So, I am guessing, well, no, the body found holding the legs, lab employee, informer of the competition, a police officer, none of the above. Who was found with the head trauma, a lab employee, a journalist, an animal rights activist, none of the above.
Mia's the former competition, whatever it's referring to right there. That's Mia.
Neither of those is the body.
Right.
Both of these is the body.
Okay, so yeah.
Who caused the trauma? Emma, Mia, Magnus, someone else. What kind of action was perpetrated or tried to before the fire? Illegal obtaining of information, sabotage, violent crime, romantic rendezvous. Might go with sabotage, because they're going to sabotage the lab experiments. How was the fire started? An employee started it intentionally. An employee started it by accident. Oh, we need to know the methods of ignition.
I didn't see any. That's the thing. He just said there were many sites or many.
An intruder started it intentionally. An intruder started it by accident. Those are the last two. I think an intruder probably started it intentionally. In which lab did the fire start? In 11, 12, or 13? Or none of the above. Why did someone lock the access door? To prevent anyone getting out? To prevent anyone interrupting? To prevent a further catastrophe? Or to prevent the fire's propagation? That fourth floor drawing shows what might be firewalls, but I mean, this thing is so freaking small. Game designers, do not do this. Even for people with old eyes. I mean, you don't want to, make it so people can't see these things. I mean, it shouldn't be a find where's Waldo. So I'm hoping that's not it.
Yeah.
Why did someone put a watch in a beaker with water? To blame the person responsible, to say goodbye, to justify their actions, or to show a specific time? Well, that is a specific time. It's 11:35.
I have no idea. It's really weird. What am I looking at? What did you want me to be looking at here, I guess?
What did I want you to be looking at here?
Yeah.
I was looking at that red stripe that goes down there.
Yeah, those are all fire extinguishers.
Oh.
And first aid and a fire hose.
So Ingrid has the 11:30 shift in Laboratory 11. That's not when the fire started, though. But maybe they're trying to say Ingrid set the fire. Ingrid said they were working on a very ambitious project in Laboratory 13. None said anything, and they were very paranoid about the industrial espionage and the leak of information. But if this watch is to... I mean, Why did someone put a watch in a beaker with water? To blame the person responsible, to say goodbye, to justify their actions, or to show a specific time. I think it's to show a specific time in order to blame the person responsible for the fire. So I think to blame the person responsible, I think, is the correct answer. I think they're saying Ingrid started it. Because she is... No, that's at 21:30, not 23:30. I don't know. I don't see an 11:30 person on here.
Emma's 2200. I don't know anything about Greta.
Greta wasn't even there.
So we are saying then it's late, not
has to be late because it's 22:10.
Yeah. It's got to be Emma. It's got to be 2200.
Well, Emma was in 12. Emma is one of the bodies.
Right. Okay, put it.
I can't just magically put it because it's one of the bodies. That's questions 1 and 2. The order matters.
All right, which body?
If your shift starts at 21:30, you'd probably still be there 2 hours later. Yeah,
I agree.
This is not when the shift starts. This is when samples have to be taken from those critters. Mm. I mean, what was it? Who is there anyone later? No, there was no one later. Ingrid and Magnus and everyone, they were in the building because of what you can see here with the access control logs. You can actually see who was in there. So the charred body with holding the legs had traces of accelerant all over her body, like she was purposely lit.
Yeah.
Or she was purposely using accelerant to sabotage the lab. See, I don't know anything about the animal rights activists because I didn't see any of that.
I only saw the breaking news saying that they broke animals out of the zoo. That's all I saw with that. Which is why
they're in the area.
They're in the area, and they're obviously trying to free the animals.
And if all this is true, then Emma and Magnus being dating, the only thing that's good for is to say that Magnus didn't kill Emma. And that Emma and Oliver had gotten along very well. And they usually meet after hours. Is Emma feeding Oliver information?
That's what I'm wondering.
If Emma's feeding Oliver information, then maybe Emma is one of those animal rights activists. And maybe Emma started it intentionally, but she just got a promotion.
Yeah, it doesn't feel
Something's
right, especially if
not
she died
up.
for it.
Something's not adding up. We need your help, guys. All right, so that was down to question 8, none of which we've answered. Question 9, why is there nothing in Mia's locker? Because she went out to smoke, because she was getting ready to run away, because she has emptied it before the investigation started, or we don't know because it's not important. She just put in a shift change specifically for this week. So she could be here for this shift.
It's very suspicious. I mean, she was going out to smoke. She might have just taken her purse with her and gone, but it's also very suspicious timing as the fire was just happening as she was leaving the building. As she was leaving the building, she was just going and the fires were started. So either she just started the fires and left. I don't know.
4. Yes, my name is Mia Dahl. We're 7 employees here with 8 accesses.
So someone's not an employee?
Someone took Oliver's ID.
Right.
Or Oliver gave his ID to someone.
No, he lost it.
That's what I'm saying. He gave it to somebody. He lost it, which means he gave it to somebody in order to break in and burn stuff down.
Meaning an activist or somebody.
But Oliver was meeting with Emma after hours.
No, I know. That's why I put that card down, because it seemed weird.
So despite Emma's promotion, maybe she is guilty. Question 10, why was Oliver registered in the system? Because he was there, because someone wanted him to be registered, because someone that was not him used his ID, or we don't know because it's not important. I think someone used his ID.
I think that's the only thing
That's the only one we're sure of. The only thing we're sure of.
Dang. I don't know.
Why did someone put a watch in a beaker with water?
To show the time. I mean, it's...
To show a specific time, but the reason to show a specific time is to blame the person responsible. I think. But no one has a shift at 23:30 is the problem.
That's what I'm wondering.
Unless that's no, if that's the top of the watch, then it's 5 something, and there's nothing 5. I don't.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely 11:35.
It's definitely 11:35.
And I think it's definitely a guy. I think it's a guy's watch.
Oh, it's a guy's watch.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 women here.
Yeah, but those women are dead.
Well, yeah. So why would a guy's not going to bust himself? $11:35, 11:36 ish, 11:35 and a half.
I was gonna play the. I don't know. I think this card is still important because.
No, I think it is because they're asking the question specifically about it. Why is the watch in here?
Right.
There is a reason. One of those 4 is the reason. To blame the person responsible, to say goodbye, to justify their actions, or to show a specific time. That's the thing, though. What is 11:35, 11:36? What is the meaning of that? Unless you look at 11:35 upside down digitally and it's sell. I don't know. Mm. Is it Olivier's watch? Oliver's watch? Well, that's the thing. We don't know. So it might be to blame the person responsible. Okay, so someone locked the access door. Remember, so Sophie said when she heard there was a 210, which means a fire. I learned that from the emergency codes. I tried to go into the affected area with the fire extinguisher, but the doors were sealed, and I evacuated the building. So, did the person who killed those people seal the door and run away? Because why did someone lock the access door? To prevent anyone getting out, to prevent anyone interrupting, to prevent a further catastrophe, or to prevent the fire's propagation? See, if it was animal activists, though, they wouldn't burn down the animals.
Yeah, that's
they
what
didn't
I'm
get the
wondering.
animals out.
They wanted to get the animals out. But actually, the cages looked empty.
The cages looked empty?
They did, yeah. I mean, there was nothing touched on the Lab 8. Like, everything was pristine and in good condition. But I don't believe there were any animals in the cages.
But there were animals in 11 and 12.
See, that I don't know.
In standard cage, sealed cage. Because the sealed cage, Deterol, is airborne virus. So it's in a sealed cage.
Okay.
At least I'm fairly sure that one was the airborne one. It didn't seem important, the methods of the virus.
I mean, so it could be Oliver's watch because 11:35 could be the time that they met every day outside of work hours.
Could be.
Because they met after work every day. Like, I don't...
Could be.
I don't know.
I think it's still to blame the person responsible for killing them. Sure. And it's clearly a man's watch.
I think so as well.
So I think whoever it is, I think Mia knows, oh, Oliver was trying to scam me. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna put this in here in a beaker of water so it doesn't burn up. Mm-hmm. So I think one of those is a female employee, laboratory employee. I don't know if it's the one with the head trauma or holding their legs. So
both bodies are female, yes.
Both bodies are female. Confirmed. One's lying face down with head trauma. One of them is sitting, holding her leg, sitting in a corner, and she's got accelerant all over her. Like she's been, doused with gasoline or lighter fluid or something.
Yeah, maybe she just caused it and she just killed herself.
Maybe. Or maybe, the doors were barred. So I think what happened is someone doused her down, lit her on fire, and barred the door. But someone caught him doing it, and he had to smash her.
That makes sense.
And he ran out.
So in which case it would be
Oliver
this body
did it.
than this body.
Yeah. That feels right. So, the person with the head trauma, is it a lab employee, a journalist, an animal rights activist, or none of the above? Did another lab employee find them? The question is, who else would be in there?
But what I don't get...
Because... Go ahead.
What I don't get is, if it is Oliver, why would he have lost his card? Only to then have it be used by somebody else?
I don't think it might not have been Oliver who killed him. It may have been somebody else working with Oliver. But they definitely wanted to sabotage these experiments.
Oliver's name, I think.
Maybe. But I think Oliver was working with them. What kind of action was perpetrated before the fire? Illegal obtaining of information, sabotage, violent crime, or romantic rendezvous? Well, I don't know, because there was the industrial espionage going on. But that's in Lab 13. That's none of the ones that they're working on here. This is all animals.
Yeah, the only other guys are...
I wonder if it's just accidental. I wonder if the burning was accidental.
Magnus? Maybe it's Magnus because he was jealous of Oliver and Emma.
Well, that's the thing. She wanted to break up. And you know what? It may just be the simplest explanation. Maybe Emma was expecting to meet Oliver and was surprised to discover it was someone else.
That could be. But
I bet in Magnus's locker, he's got a watch in his picture showing.
I didn't see his locker.
I did. I don't know. I don't know if it was too far off, but I remember seeing a male and a female with some scenic view behind them. It could have had that watch. and I can't go back and look at it now.
I want to look at it.
But I think you're onto something. I bet Emma is blaming, and Emma's not the one with the head trauma.
I agree.
Emma's the one who got burnt. So Magnus did it. Who caused that trauma? Magnus. Magnus hit the one with the head trauma. But was that a lab employee, a journalist, or an animal rights activist, or none of the above?
I don't get journalists. I don't.
And the other question, what was happening before the fire? Were they given illegal information? Were they doing sabotage, violent crime, or romantic rendezvous? Is it possible that Mia is having a romantic relationship with a female? But not Mia, but Emma. And Emma was in there. Ooh, was it with Mia?
Mia went outside, but that could just be a lie. I mean, she was on the way out for a cigarette.
I mean, she had all of her stuff gone.
I know.
She's suspect.
It's so sketch.
Unless that's a narrow band watch. I didn't see Emma's locker.
Emma's locker was normal. Like, she has a motorcycle helmet and a cell phone.
Yeah.
And a mirror.
Dang.
I don't know the answers.
In which lab did the what?
Of course, it's like there's so many ways this could play out.
I know, it's really good.
It's good, and it's hard to know. Like, I guess you go with your gut, and that's what we usually do.
So Mia is suspect. Magnus is suspect because of the watch and the dating situation. I don't know enough about the ambitious project and the industrial
That's the
espionage.
only thing I saw about it. So that's what makes me, I
don't know enough about the animal rights activist. And maybe all that stuff is just there just to feed you speculating.
Right, exactly.
And it's just something simple like, oh, this is jealousy.
Oh, this is the Lab 8. The back of the card.
Oh, hey, the back of the cards are important.
That's Lab 8.
Well, I don't think it's cheating to say that.
It's clearly... Oh, but there's animals in those cages.
Yeah.
There were no animals in my cages.
So they had already gotten them out.
They already got those animals out.
So they were trying to rescue the animals. So who locked them in?
I don't know. Mia is the newbie.
So
Who was always asking questions. So she wanted to know everything that was going on. Like, annoyingly. I don't know. She's very, 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 very guilty in my opinion. And obviously the locker, which is like, why wouldn't she leave anything in there if it was going to happen? So that makes her look less guilty, but guilty at the same time.
And she wanted to be there. She wanted to be there late. She wanted to be there late.
Yeah. You know, just to further muddy the waters. Yeah, I know.
Well, that's the thing. This clearly is not implicating Mia, the watch here.
Right, that's what I don't...
And the watch is there for a reason.
Oliver's probably just like an innocent bystander.
I don't know.
That got used somehow.
He must have gotten used.
Because Jacob let him into the building. that day. So it's got to be somebody like the journalist, whom we don't even really know, or an activist, which makes more sense because if the animals have been, bless you, if the animals have been released from the cages.
Well, you saw no animals in the cages. That makes me think that there was some sort of animal rights activist.
I agree. After seeing the back of this cardigan and seeing the animals in the cages, this was the picture of the Lab 8 with the animal insides and the microscope and the cages, just like that. All of it.
So
like
they
that.
wouldn't want to burn things down. So maybe an intruder started it by accident, but there's accelerant all over them.
I think it's definitely intended. That's what it don't make sense.
And whoever died knows to blame whoever has the watch.
Right. So I don't think the activist set the fires. I do think the activist was in the building releasing the animals at the same time this was happening. So unless they set a diversion or something with fires, I don't know. It's all like a double undercover sort of situation. Two things happening at the same time.
All right. Sounds like a journalist. You know, just to further muddy the waters, if that's Magnus's watch, I don't see how anybody else would have been able to, or it could have been Oliver's watch, would have been able to drop it in the beaker other than him. No, it was the one who got covered with accelerant, potentially. And if someone was, if she had his watch somehow, like if they had a struggle or something, she could have put it in the beaker of water just to make sure it didn't burn up. If Magnus is the guilty party, he would be trying to cover up. Well, he can't go back in that room. The beaker of water was in the lab. It was in laboratory 12, which caught on fire. The choices are to blame the person responsible, to say goodbye, to justify their actions, or to show a specific time.
I think it's either to show a specific time or to blame a specific person.
I think it's to blame the person responsible, but
let's go with it.
Why is there nothing in Mia's locker? Because she went out to smoke? Because she's getting ready to run away? Because she emptied it before the investigation started? Or we don't know because it's not important?
I mean, the only thing I know to be true is that she was going outside, but I don't know why she would empty everything out of her locker for a quick break. Unless she's one of the people who just kind of just puts her purse in the locker and that's it. Some people don't keep things in lockers, I guess.
But she also put in for the shift change specifically this week.
Yeah, that seems all very, very weird.
I think she's getting ready to run away.
Yeah.
But we could be wrong. Let's be wrong together.
I don't know. Sure.
If it's a man's watch, wouldn't the simplest solution be that the man was the guilty party since the victims are female? Yep. I agree. Maybe she's getting ready to run away because she is with whoever. I think it's a 2-person job here.
I definitely think it's a 2-person job.
It's Mia and somebody. Mia and an animal rights activist. But I don't know if the animal rights activist is the one with the head trauma. Could be. Okay, so who is the body found holding their legs? A lab employee, an informer of the competition, a police officer, or none of the above? I think it's the lab employee.
I think so too.
And I think it's the animal rights activist with the head trauma.
It could be.
You don't know. Who caused the trauma? Emma, Mia, Magnus, someone else?
I mean, if it's Mia and Magnus, then Magnus, I guess. But how did the watch get in the water?
Emma put it there.
But how did she get the watch? Because she got it off of him somehow?
Don't know.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. But yeah.
What kind of action was perpetrated or tried to before the crime? Illegal obtaining of information, sabotage, violent crime, or romantic crime rendezvous? I think sabotage. How was the fire started? An employee started intentionally by accident. An intruder started it intentionally by accident. I think it was by accident because they wouldn't want to kill the animals.
I do too.
I didn't sound too sure.
Well, there is
Head trauma was from the person with the watch. It broke when he hit the woman. Oh, and fell on the floor.
It could be.
Which would be Magnus. It wouldn't be Emma or Mia. It was either Magnus or someone else.
Yeah, Corey says, I don't think that she'd have ripped it off him. I agree, unless the locker is in there and she took it from the locker.
I mean, it did break because the crystal's cracked. In which laboratory did the fire start? 11, 12, 13, or none of the above? Let's just go with the obvious 12.
12.
Why did someone lock the access door? To prevent anyone getting out, to prevent anyone interrupting, to prevent a further catastrophe, or to prevent the fire's propagation? To prevent anyone getting out.
I mean, I guess.
That's all I'm going to guess. To prevent anyone interrupting because Sophie couldn't get in. The doors were sealed. So prevent anyone interrupting the fire from happening. For her putting it out.
We've answered all 10 questions.
All right, we'll see how poorly we did. All right. Score 2 points for each right answer. A, correct. C, correct. A, incorrect. B, correct. A, incorrect. B, correct. C, incorrect. C, incorrect. D, incorrect. C, correct. God. We got 5 of them.
Do you want to go over the correct answers?
Because we did poorly.
You didn't write anything down, though. So
what?
I want to go over the right answers.
I didn't write anything down.
Right.
Oh, I know. So this is A, that's A, that's... I'm going to go over the whole story here in a second.
Yeah, but...
So, it is indeed a lab employee and an animal rights activist. Emma caused the trauma. Emma found the animal rights activist and smashed her. Her, yes. And that makes sense. Magnus or Oliver came in, saw what was happening, and killed Mia. I mean, not Mia, Emma. I'm thinking. How was the fire started? An employee started it intentionally.
With the accelerant. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it's why, yeah.
Why did someone lock the access door? To prevent a further catastrophe. Why did someone put a watch in a beaker with water? To justify their actions.
That's what Corzi said.
We'll have to see what that is. Why is there nothing in Mia's locker? We don't know because it wasn't important. That's not going to be good. Here is the full story. A group of animal rights activists is carrying out their agenda by illegally freeing animals from the zoo from several pet shops. Oh, there were pet shop burglaries.
I didn't see that.
And from a laboratory where animals are experimented on. To sneak into the laboratory, they got the ID of one of the employees, resulting in him being registered in the system even though he was not there. And they have card numbers on each of these little snippets. At 2200, Emma left her co-workers in the office area and went to Laboratory 12 to take some samples from a mouse infected with a lethal virus that is highly contagious and has no cure. She ran into an intruder who had freed that mouse. And, in order to prevent the propagation, Emma hit her, blocked the access door, and started a fire to eliminate any trace of the dangerous virus. She did it to save everybody. This decision also implied her own sacrifice.
Virus must have been really bad.
As she did not have there was no cure for it. As she did not have a mobile phone, Emma had to manage to explain the reason for her actions and decisions. She set her watch... Oh, crap.
It was her watch.
Crap. She set her watch to 11:36, broke it, and immersed it in water to protect it from the fire. The emergency code to warn of a viral leak is...
Oh, you got rid of the emergency codes.
Because I was like, I already know what a 201 is. Or a 210 is.
Oh.
Yeah, what's the code for... Tell us what the code for a viral leak is.
It's 1136. Womp womp. I blame Michael. Ha 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 ha.
So, irrelevant cards. Take away 1 point for each of these irrelevant cards.
All
Put
right.
these in order.
Yeah.
This is the easiest way to do this, we've found. 12 and 13. 16, 24, 27, 28, 30, 32. Here are the irrelevant cards.
Okay.
Get ready. We're going to have a bunch of them. 3, 4, 5. Do we have any of those?
No.
8, 9, 10.
Irrelevant?
Yes.
Okay.
11,
Yep.
15, 16, 17. You got to tell me because I don't know.
I have 3 so far.
17, 18, 19, 20, 30, 31. The locker. Of course it's the locker.
I wasn't sure. It looked suspicious.
Other
to me.
irrelevant ones. Shift change. Crap. Mia being suspicious as hell. And she didn't have anything to do with it.
She was really suspicious.
Yeah.
Dang, we didn't do very well this game.
Sources of ignition. Important. Mia going out to make a call and have a cigarette. Irrelevant. Sumerian fever. Irrelevant. Insurance policy. Irrelevant. Here's Magnus's locker. We wouldn't have learned anything because no watch, really.
Oh, I see.
Magnus saying me as an example. She's always curious to know, asking everything. Irrelevant. Mobile phones not allowed in this facility. Irrelevant. Emma's locker. Not irrelevant.
Why?
She didn't have her mobile phone.
Well,
It just showed she didn't have her mobile phone.
I told you that she didn't have her mobile.
It's card 6 and 29.
Sure.
Datarol being a lethal virus, there is no cure. That's probably why she did it, because in Lab 12 is Datarol. What?
We had 4 cards.
Oh, we got a total of 6. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. Oliver had been doing research work, but it was canceled. Irrelevant. Employees usually work in the office area and they go down to the laboratories when they need to get samples or carry out experiments. Relevant.
Yeah.
24-hour news channel actually relevant. Robberies in pet shops.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Jacob. Me as the newbie, she left the competition to come work here. Irrelevant.
Yeah. I remembered that.
Gulharos virus. Irrelevant. The fires destroyed the physical evidence. Irrelevant, actually. Emma's promotion. Irrelevant. I know. Laboratory 8. Relevant. Oslo Zoo. Relevant. IDs to go in and out. Oliver lost. Relevant. Firefighters found several sources of ignition. Relevant.
There was a lot of irrelevant.
10.
That's more than normal.
10 minus 4 is 6. Which does not make us Sherlock Holmes at 18 or more.
No.
It's not 15 to 17. It's not 11 to 14. It's not 7 to 10. We're at the very bottom, 6 or less. Inspector Lestrade, Sherlock is going to make fun of you a little bit more for a while. Another case needs to be solved quickly. The end.
Wow, that was hard.
That was hard. We did as poorly on this as we did on 4th of July.
No, we did worse on 4th of July.
Oh, gosh, it was horrible. Well, I was
This
glad
was better
that
than 4th of July, for sure.
The story was better.
Oh, yeah.
This is card 1, so we need to just put this on top here.
That's about my typical performance on these.
So, if you enjoyed that, you'll probably enjoy getting the Sherlock Files Elementary Entries is Volume 1. Curious Capers is volume 2, and I don't know.
3 is definitely not out yet.
3 is not out yet,
it's
but
probably
it
been
is.
Announced.
It has
just
been
announced.
Well, I mean, it's got a BGG listing,
right? So I mean, it's just It's probably 2021 is when it's coming.
If you want to get individual entries, they've got these little small boxes from GDM Games. And if you want to wait on the big things from Indie, you can do that as well. I tend to enjoy the story of these much more than I do the exit.
Oh yeah, we like this more
and
than
unlock games.
The exit games for sure.
These seem to go quicker. There's not a lot to them. No, there is no puzzle solving, and a lot of times we do go down the wrong path. But I think that I don't find myself kicking myself all that much when we're done with one of these Sherlocks. It's really an enjoyable experience of going, I should have figured that out. I don't feel like I got cheated like I do with some of the puzzles on some of the escape games. And you guys on the stream who have been with us for a while, you've seen some of the escape rooms we've had to do. So
well, hopefully we get to play the Escape the Asylum again because that was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
And I always have a good time playing the Sherlock games.
That is our 5th or 6th one, I think. 6th. I think that's the last one of the set.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah.
There's also is the picture game related? Where you've got a picture?
Oh yeah. The Instacrime. It's the same company, GDM Games. It's a kind of a similar feeling, and then they updated it because of my suggestion to update it to have questions, kind of like Sherlock Files.
Oh really?
They totally updated it.
That's really good.
Yeah. So they emailed me saying, yeah, we're gonna add that to the Instacrime series now. I'm like,
so
excellent.
So whenever you see that, it's because of our suggestions. So that's really good.
That's really good. Well, so I really like the idea of the Instacrime series anyway because it's using pictures and you don't.
You've got 10 images, I believe.
Yeah, or something, maybe more.
10, 12?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But you're only seeing images and you can only talk about one at a time without showing each other. So you're talking about what you're seeing, but then you kind of have to remember what you've seen in order to put the puzzle together. And so I think what it was lacking... What? Drink. No, I'm talking.
Hydrate.
You're interrupting me.
Star Lover says hydrate. Ow, she hit me.
Yeah, you deserved it. No, but in Instacrime, you're giving clues to these images. I don't do that. I don't do that when you're talking all the time talking. But I like the use of photographs, so I think it's cool. Everything I say is irrelevant. It doesn't
it's not
matter.
irrelevant.
Yeah? God.
She whacked me. Did you see she whacked her? She's like, boom!
That's well deserved.
That was a pretty good round kick. I haven't done Taekwondo in 7 months. I'm dying. And it's probably 8 months by now. Getting close to 8 months. Gotta get my round kicks in somehow.
Yeah, I guess.
Steph, you are awesome.
Thanks. Star Lover 13.
And I'm just
You're
comic
nothing.
relief.
You need a haircut.
No. Actually, I do need a haircut. It is getting sort of long.
Mullet.
Not a mullet.
We'll be right back.
See ya.
Play the Sherlock games.
Yes.